We're at 3:16 p.m. Do I hear a motion to suspend voter or roll call for committee members by unanimous consent?
So moved.
Are there any objections to that? Hearing none, the motion passes. Will any members of the public who walked in please state their name afterwards?
Yeah, my name is Joshua Johnson.
Robert Drescher. All right, appreciate it. So we now move into the consideration of SSB 2025-1095. Seeing as there is an author present, 5 minutes of presentation whenever you're ready.
Awesome. My name is Joshua Johnson. I wrote with fellow Senator Zoe Metchik a resolution advocating for a memorial in the University of Florida Library West in honor of Professor Bernard O'Donnell. He was a dear teacher of mine along with Zoe. We actually took 2 of his 3 classes, and he was a fantastic teacher that unexpectedly passed away this year. He spent upwards of 10 hours per week in Library West helping students with like legal writings and office hours, things like that. And he currently has it's an unofficial memorial in the West. So they have flowers, they have notes, they have a little document of sort of what he meant to students and everything. And one thing that I find very awesome is his red ink. That's what he used to like mark up everyone's essays with and law, I think it's legal writing. So all the notes are written in red ink. But yeah, we're just sort of advocating for a memorial on his behalf. We had talked with his family. His family is very pro-memorial. They really like this idea. So does Library West. We talked with Stacy, who's the chair, and they both love this idea. And yeah, now we just have to secure the funding. But it looks like we're just figuring that out now.
Okay. All right. Do you waive the rest of your time?
Sure.
So, okay. We now move into 5 minutes of question and answer. Are there any questions? All right. Hearing none, we now move into 5 minutes of debate. Is there any debate?
Yeah, one of the whereas clauses at the end is missing. I think it's the 3rd whereas clause is missing a semicolon after community.
And then the first therefore clause is kind of written. It's written very. The structure of it is very confusing. It's kind of like a run-on sentence. I think you could make it have a comma or some way to like make it more clear what's going on.
Yeah, I see that too. We could probably throw a period after Library West and that, and then would establish a permanent recognizable space.
Maybe you could say period. This would establish a permanent recognizable space.
True. I will say that typically therefore clauses are supposed to be just one sentence, so we could add another therefore clause
Okay.
to it. So
Just split it at the wood. So in the
Yeah.
West, and then say therefore let it be further resolved that this plaque would establish a permanent recognizable space.
yeah, like that. Okay. All right. Any further debate? All right.
Rico.
Now move into final privilege. Anything you'd like to add?
So
All right. Yes. Seeing as he's waived the rest of his time, so we are now in line for motions. Do I hear any motions at this time?
I move to amend SSB 2025-1095 to add in a semicolon in the 3rd whereas clause after community. By unanimous consent.
There's been a motion made to add a semicolon at the end of community in the 3rd whereas clause by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes. Any other motions?
I move to amend SSB 2025-1095 to split the first therefore clause into a second one, starting at would. Splitting it in this with the new whereas clause being let it be further resolved that this plaque would establish by unanimous consent.
The motion made by Senator Putnam has been made by unanimous consent regarding adding a therefore clause to 1095. Do I hear any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes. Okay, so therefore let it be further resolved this plaque. Such a permanent recognizable. All right, tell me how that looks.
is it still wood on there? Is it, you say that this plaque, that this memorial would establish a permanent organization? Or it might be, just might not be on this.
Yeah. I mean, we could do memorial or plaque if you wanna make a motion on top of that, or we could keep it as
I
plaque.
think plaque's fine.
Okay. You have any preference, Josh?
Yeah, it was good.
Okay. Oh yeah, cause in the one before it talks about a plaque, so we'll just keep it as plaque.
Does it have to be that this plaque or doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we can do that too. It's proper grammar, I guess.
Okay. I move to amend SSB 2025-1095 to add that to the second third fourth clause.
There's been a motion made to add that to the second, third, fourth clause by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes. Okay. Tell me how all that looks. And Emma, you wanted to add yourself as a sponsor, right?
Yeah, do you have to motion?
The classes, yeah.
I move to amend SSB 2025, 1095 to add Senator Emma Fullerton in the sponsors line.
There's been a motion made to add Senator Emma Fullerton to the sponsors line by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes. I'm sure, are you all gonna do a, like, sheet during Senate
We definitely
for
can.
sponsors too?
Sure.
Yeah. Especially for stuff like this where everybody would, encourage it.
I'm still not seeing the edit, for the that. Did you see?
I haven't seen
Yeah, I haven't.
Let's see.
Thank you.
Yeah, it should be there. Let's try refreshing it one more time.
it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Alright.
Okay.
Alright. Are there any other motions at this time?
I move to pass SSB 2025-1095 by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion made to pass SSB 2025-1095 by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes. Alright, we're now, any members of the public who walked in, please state their name.
Alessandro Cafferado, graduate Senator.
Alright. We are now in line for SSB 2025-1096. Seeing as there is no author sponsor present, we now move directly into debate. I'll give everybody a second to look over the bill.
I don't really like the lingo.
I was gonna say the third whereas clause doesn't make sense. Like it has, the student nighttime auxiliary patrols are free nightly campus safety and transportation service for currently enrolled you have students, importance of how to stay safe while using public transportation at night.
Yeah.
I also don't like the second whereas clause. First year students may be totally unfamiliar. I don't know if that's just me being picky.
Yeah, I mean, typically you do wanna, I would say, reserve putting hyperbole in legislation, so we could take out the totally and just say unfamiliar.
Yeah.
And then
The third whereas.
the third whereas clause.
I think maybe it needs to be, maybe it's. Is it supposed to be two whereas clauses? I'm just trying to understand what the original intent of the.
And then the fourth whereas clause, I forget what it's called, but the commas like aren't the same. It will allow for, will reduce, and increase.
Is there not, I don't think there's an and at the end of the word.
Oh yeah, and then.
And it's like, 'cause it's, I don't know if this matters, but it's kind of like this, it's like weird, and increase efficiency of travel and productivity for students. Would that just be one thing? I don't know. I guess it is. It's like a very long run on. It's like
I think,
This has a lot of edits.
providing
and
information regarding
I
transportation.
may be in favor of tabling it.
yeah, I think we should probably just table this, to
Yeah.
be quite honest.
It has a lot of grammatical errors, and like just confusion.
I'm gonna edit the bill and muddle what
Yeah.
that was.
Yeah, that's kind of how I see it too. Alright, well, any further debate regarding the bill? Okay. Alright, we're now online for any motions. Do I hear any motions at this time?
I move to table SSB 2025-1096 by unanimous consent.
A motion made to table SSB 2025-1096 by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes.
And then, do we let the author know why we do?
We do. Yeah, that's something I wanted the vice chairs to start doing, and it's something they've tried to do. And regardless of committee, I've tried to, like, with budget too. I think that the vice chairs have started doing that as well there.
I'm trying to include in the minutes like the criteria that we're like amending for. It's all format, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying like amending for format.
Yep.
So I think it'll give a little bit more clarity for some of this.
I
could say table for format. Is that like?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, we now move into hearing SSB 2025-1097. Seeing as there is an author present, in 5 minutes, whenever you're ready.
Obviously this is just a bill to talk about advocating for planting native pine trees around UF campus in different vacant spots. I'm talking to the various people on campus. Originally, the only edit I do want to make an edit to the proviso. It's not necessarily a bill that has to deal with the Land Use and Facilities Planning Committee. It has to do with the Landscape and Vegetation Committee chair. Her name is I have her name right. It's Gail Chapman. So I want to modify the proviso to remove Matt Williams and then the chair of the land and then change the committee. But my understanding is that planting native pine trees is kind of already a part of the UF landscape master plan, and so this kind of works well with it, and it opens the opportunity down the line to like include students more in that process that's already ongoing. So I yield my time.
Okay, thank you. We now move into a question and answer period. Is there any questions? Are there any questions? Alright, hearing none, we now move into the debate portion. Is there any debate?
I think it's a great bill, really good job writing it, everything seems super concise, and to the point, and I don't see any formatting errors, as a bill.
Alright, any further debate? Hearing none, we are now in line for final privilege.
Obviously just the proviso. I think everything. Hopefully everything else is seems as it should be.
Alright. You go first.
I yield my time.
And we are now in line for motions at this time. Do I hear any motions?
I move to amend SSB 2025-1097 to switch the proviso from sending it to the chair of the Land Use and Facilities Committee and Director of Sustainability to remove the Director of Sustainability and change it to the chair of the Landscape and Vegetation Committee, Gail Chapman. By unanimous consent.
A motion made to remove and then add a member to the proviso. By unanimous consent, are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes. Alright, I see the person's, it's the chair of the
Landscape and Vegetation Committee and the name is
Landscape and Vegetation. Vegetation Committee, what's her?
her name is Gail Chapman. It's G-A-I-L. Let me make sure that she does have a couple. Let me make sure that it's.
Gail is.
Oh, sorry, Gail Hansen. My
Gail
Apologies.
Hansen.
She has some maiden names in her email, but it's Gail Hansen, sorry.
Okay. GAIL.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Tell me if y'all see that.
Yeah, I see it.
All right. We're now in line for. We're still in line for motions. I should say.
The,
You don't have,
hello?
sorry.
The chair of the land use and facilities planning committee doesn't have a name.
Yeah, I emailed him originally and he said that it's not in his purview, that it's in Gail Hansen, so it can just be Gail
Oh,
Hansen.
so you just,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
It can just be Gail Hansen, so,
So take out all of the land use and facilities.
I move to amend SSB 2025-1097, to modify the provisos to make it just to the chair of the Landscape and Vegetation Committee, Gail Hansen, by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion made to remove the chair of the Land Use and Facilities Planning Committee, and only leave Gail Hansen the proviso line by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes. Now let me know if it shows up.
It's taking a second to update.
Yeah. Alright, it's good.
Alright. We're still in line for motions. Are there any motions at this time?
I move to pass SSB 2025-1097 by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion made to pass SSB 2025-1097 by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes. We're now in line for SSB 2025-1098. Seeing as there is no author or sponsor present, we now move directly into 5 minutes of debate. If you remember last time, we had tabled this because the proviso, he hadn't put the correct name of the position, and he didn't have a name there at all for who the person was. So he fixed that. It's Solange Douglas, and the Director of Community and Belonging for Student Engagement. So I would assume, since he submitted, it looks like just the second version of the same bill because of the file name, that not much grammar's changed, but please correct me if it has.
Does Solange Douglas have a position there?
Oh yeah, it's the Director of Community and Belonging for Student Engagement.
Okay, then I think we should remove the comma
Yeah.
after that, yeah.
The other thing actually was University of Florida requires all registered student organizations except social sororities and fraternities to have eligible and approved advisors. They do have to have eligible and approved advisors, so we can probably just take that part out and then,
Yeah, gotcha.
and we're good to go. Alright, so, is there any further debate? Okay, we now move into motions, seeing as there's no final privilege. Do I hear any motions at this time?
I move to amend SSB 2025-1098 by removing the comma after student engagement in the proviso by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion made to remove a comma from the proviso on 1098 by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes.
I move to amend SSB 2025-1098 by removing except, in the first whereas clause, except social sororities and fraternities, comma, by unanimous consent.
A motion made to remove part of the first whereas clause in 1098 by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes. Okay. Are there any motions at this time?
I move to pass SSB 2025 1098 by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion made to pass SSB 2025-1098 by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes. Alright, we now move into SSB 2025-1099. Seeing as there's no author or sponsor present, we now move directly into debate. I'm in favor of tabling this only because I really think they probably need to go talk to the Land Use and Environmental Health Office a little bit more, just regarding specifically some of the EPA, regulations surrounding this, number one, and then impact on local wildlife as a second part.
Yeah, I agree. I know that kind of anything like around Lake Alice, they care a lot about kind of like the environmental aspects of that, because I know they recently, like, the school banned like all, like, you're not allowed to do like any car washes on like that side of campus because they're afraid of like runoff into the lake. So I think insect repellent would definitely probably fall under that category of like, it would have to kind of be discussed before we move forward with that.
Yeah, so that's the precedent we've been setting over the course of the last couple months, and I want it to continue. So that's just my opinion, but we will, yeah. Any further debate? Okay. We now move into motions. Do I hear any motions at this time?
I move the table SSB 2025-1099 by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion made to table SSB 2025-1099 by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes. Okay. We are now in line for SSB 2025. Oh, my sponsors. 1100. Seeing as, I mean, literally everybody in this room is probably a sponsor. There are many sponsors present. If you want to present on it, anybody?
I don't think I sponsored this.
No, I didn't sponsor.
I did.
Go Gators.
Yeah.
Who's the sponsorship? Okay.
I was absent.
Anyone else for that? No. All right. We now move into 5 minutes of questions. Do I hear any questions? No. All right. We now move into 5 minutes of debate. The only thing is this needs a different font size.
I also see
Yeah.
error in the sponsors list. There's like a double comma.
And I think Senator Sarah Rodriguez is in a different font.
Okay.
Or it looks like it is. Maybe I'm imagining that.
An easy way to fix like all that is we'll just do the whole thing and say it should.
I think it's the same
The
font.
resolution.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I moved to make the resolution Times New Roman 12-point font. Yeah, and then that should fix those instead of going on one by one.
They don't like cite anything though. Do they need to? I mean,
Nah, not for this.
Okay.
You know. There's also and we talked about this, I think, at the first or second Judiciary meeting. And this is like in historical and political writing, especially too. There's the known fact, like, I don't know whether to call it a clause or when writing, but if something is objectively just a well-known fact, like, you don't have to cite it. And so things like this, I mean, because we're at UF, I think it falls under that.
gotcha.
So. Okay. I mean, if there is final privilege, so we now move into final privilege. Does anyone want to give final privilege? No? Okay. Alright, we now move into motions. Do I hear any motions at this time?
I move to amend SSB 2025-1100 by removing the double comma after Senator Sarah Rodriguez.
Okay, there's been a motion made to remove a comma from the sponsorship line of 1100 by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes.
I move to amend SSB 2025-1100 to correct the font size. Bring it down to 12. By unanimous consent.
Motion made to bring the font size of 1100 down to 12. Unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hey.
Hey.
Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes. Would any members of the committee who walked in please state their name for the record?
Austin Britton.
Any members of the public?
Sandra Jones.
Sorry, also I don't have my glasses on, so it's really hard to see. I should probably put them on. But okay.
With inquiry, do I add him to the minutes at the top or
Yes.
somewhere else? I can always read this.
I believe once we move into hearing a bill, I could be wrong on this, but I don't believe that a member who just walked in, once we move into the consideration of the bill, can vote on it. Because they haven't been through all the different periods of
I'll add him.
debate, question answer. So I would say add him for the next bill, if that's
Okay.
all right with you, Austin.
Which bill are we on?
We are on 1100,
yeah,
so the
1100.
national championship one.
Okay.
Point of personal privilege.
Yeah.
Do you think I could add myself to this one?
Yeah, for this is like one of those things
Yeah.
where like everyone can add themselves.
Okay, fine.
So anybody who wants to add themselves, just, I guess, raise your hand right now.
You want?
Sure.
Okay.
I'll
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
I move to amend SSB 2025-1100 by adding Senator Austin Britton to the sponsor line, Senator Phoenix Kelson to the sponsor line, and Senator Abigail Lala to the sponsor line by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion made to add 3 senators to the sponsor line by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes. Alright, let's hope I spell all your names right.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah, you're already on there.
Okay, I was already on this.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, did I get everyone's name right? Yeah, I think refresh it. Alright, we're still in line for motions. Are there any motions at this time?
I move to pass SSB 2025-1100 by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion made to pass SSB 2025-1100 by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes. We now move into consideration of SSB 2025-1101. Seeing as there are authors and sponsors present, anyone who cares to start off presenting, you have 5 minutes whenever you're ready.
Okay. Yeah. I guess I could. So this resolution is just something that is designed to acknowledge acknowledge the contributions of the 30% of graduate students that make up the UF student body, and sort of do that in light of the times, while also being something that is generally good for just UF campus in general, and acknowledging the many good contributions of international students, both graduate and undergraduate. And with that, that's pretty much the purpose of the bill. Is there anyone I want to yield to?
I can go ahead.
I yield to Yoel Katz.
I think our purpose in writing and attempting to get the bill passed is just a blanket statement of Senate support for our international students, especially international graduate students, in their research and efforts towards making the university what it is in both prestige and in contributions to diverse interests. We wanted to just restate the university's commitment to fostering a multicultural environment and our Senate's commitment to continuing to support international students by continuing to support the UF International Center as well as other resources on campus.
Anyone else? Do you waive the rest of your time?
Yeah, I'll waive the rest of my time.
Okay, we are now in line for question and answer. Are there any questions?
Did you talk to any
anyone outside the sponsors and authors to check for any of these clauses before submitting it?
Good question.
Yeah, actually, I can answer this. So, specifically in the proviso line, you'll see the Dean of the International Center and Associate Provost Marta Wayne, who I had emailed to specify the demographic of the University of Florida International Center to confirm the whereas clause that says it provides essential services to international students and scholars, including F1 and J1 visa advising, immigration compliance assistance.
Did you email Ken Fox about this? Or?
No, not yet.
Okay. Well, we do have a policy at least. Well, I'll save it for
Yeah.
debate. All right. Any further questions? No? Okay. Now in line for debate. Yeah, the one thing I'll say is we do have a policy that we started at the beginning of the Senate term of if you haven't emailed or put in contact with the person, probably don't put them in a proviso. It's just not a good way to build a relationship with those certain administrators. You're more than welcome to afterwards follow up and have a conversation with them. But we would just rather not keep doing that in the Senate because that was a problem we had in the past where people would just get email blasted nonstop and not know what it was about, right? So that's my only concern. Other than that, great though. Anyone else? Any further debate?
So are we in favor for removing conflicts from the proviso or for keeping?
I'll probably motion to remove them, but y'all can vote how you want on that. All right, so any further debate?
I guess to defend it a little, it is just.
You can't have.
Oh, sorry.
There was-
I already
you have 2 minutes of final privilege.
Um,
at the
I
end.
see, I see.
Yep.
Sorry.
All right, any further debate? All right, hearing none, you're now in line for 2 minutes of final privilege.
Okay, sorry, that makes more sense. I just like to some extent to defend keeping him on the proviso. It is not something demanding anything explicit from him or rather like inciting his collaboration, rather just a bill demonstrating the Senate's support for the international students here. Either way, I think the more essential person on the proviso is Dr. Wayne. So regardless, I think the bill still serves its purpose. So yield the rest of my time.
All right, we are now in line for any motions at this time. For 11:01, correct? All right, do I hear a motion to strike University of Florida interim president Dr. Ken Fox from the proviso by unanimous consent?
So
All right, are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes.
I move to add Senator Isabel Flores to the sponsors line by unanimous consent.
All right, there's been a motion made to add Senator Isabel Flores to the sponsors line by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes. Would you mind spelling, is it Isabella or Isabel?
I believe it's Isabella, Isabella, and then Flores, Flores.
Okay, thank you. Let me know how that looks.
Inquiry really fast. When you made the motion, is that your motion or?
Hers technically
Okay.
because, yeah.
Yeah,
she
she
moved
was
it.
the okay.
All right. Any further motions at this time?
I move to pass SSB 2025-1101 by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion made to pass SSB 2025-1101 by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes. Okay. All right, we're now in line for SSB 2025-1102. Seeing as there is no author or sponsor present for 1102, we move directly into debate. I'll give everyone a chance to read it real quick.
yeah, it was just that one issue with the therefore like be resolved. The second one, it should be therefore like further be resolved.
For 1102,
Yeah.
It's also, I think it's the wrong font size.
what do you see?
Yeah. The I mean,
Yeah, it is definitely the wrong font.
yeah.
size.
So, and there's no period after the provision.
I will say, having, I worked for new students and family programs for almost a year. Christopher Clan has nothing to do with the Gateway app. I can promise you that, knowing him well. So I would say definitely to remove his name from the Proviso. Everybody else in there looks good though.
It looks all.
Huh?
The font looks all.
Yeah,
I think
because
it's
the
13,
size
yeah,
is so big.
All right. Any further debate? Oh, also, to all of our guests, by the way, there's donuts right there. That's why we brought them. So, for the members of the public.
Thank you, Chair.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yep. All right. So we are now in line for any motions at this time.
I move to amend SSB 2025-11 resolution to font size to the correct 12.4 by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion made to change the font size of 1102 to 12 point by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes.
I move to amend SSB 2025-1102 to remove Assistant Dean and Director of the Center for New Student and Family Programs, Christopher Clan, from the Proviso by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion made to remove Christopher Clan from the Proviso of 1102 by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes. Any other motions at this time?
I move to pass SSB 2025-1102.
A motion made to pass 1102 by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none. Motion passes. Okay. And we now move on, or we are now in line for 1103.
Was there one motion or two motions? Two.
There was one to change the font size and then one to move the percent.
And you made this.
I made the second one, Hughes made the first one.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're now in line for SSB 2025-1103. There is no author sponsor present on this one either. So we now move directly into debate. I'll give everybody a minute to read it.
Doesn't the second clause also need to be further?
That's the one that I was looking at the wrong for, but
No, you're good. I used to do that all the time.
but yeah, the second, therefore clause. And then this is also the bill that I have permission from Tristan and Catherine to add myself as a sponsor.
Sounds good.
I'm not familiar with a lot of the waitlist system. I know, at least in my department, it's up to the professors or the department chair to just turn on or off the waitlist system. It's built into like the sign up for class systems, and then you just turn it on and off for specific departments and stuff. I'm not sure if that's true across the university. I know it's at least true in my department. That's how they operate on the waitlist system.
Which department are you in?
I'm in geography, so
Okay.
I'm in class.
Interesting.
Well, I know from all of their meetings with like the registrar's office, but they also met with like political science department,
Mhm.
and I feel like that would have been brought up in their meeting.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I'm just.
If it
I'm
was
unsure of
possible.
like who would have to like
Yeah.
add that to their system. If they've met with them and they recommend us to write in the resolution, I think I'm fine with that then. But
So if they, if it is the same system that your department uses for the political science department, they did include the political science chair, who's Benjamin Smith.
Okay.
Because I know for a fact that that's his position. So as far as if that would be the correct avenue, then they've included him in the proviso.
Mhm.
This is why it's good for people who author bills though to show up, because
yeah,
we can actually ask them these questions.
Standing from talking to Tristan about this, it was like a couple weeks ago, but he was talking about how like they have met and they were kind of going over like what they would have to do to kind of implement it, and it was like more of a concern from that department on like adding more work for them, but I think they worked through that problem is what like Tristan was telling me, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
I think they did, like I know for a fact that they did
No,
talk
I
to
agree.
the chairs
That's
of the
what they
department.
told me as well.
Okay.
Because I know they had at least like a couple of meetings
So if
back
they,
and forth.
we know they met with the registrars, we know they met with the chairs. I mean, all those people are listed in the proviso, so it's okay to keep them there if they had those meetings, in my opinion.
I agree.
In the proviso, is it important to dictate whether, or like make a note what chair they are?
I would say so.
Yeah. So like chair of the political science department. Do you know what chair he is?
I believe he is chair of political science,
Okay.
but we can look that up as well.
Okay, and then this thing with the associate chair as well, and the dean.
I know Dwyer's political science.
Yeah.
I've taken his classes.
The last two don't have titles for their
Yeah.
names. So if they're being sent a specific reason, I would love to have the titles so we know
Yeah.
why they're being sent it.
Okay. How about, let's do this. How about we'll take, I can go make sure that this is the chair and associate chair of political science. I'm pretty sure it is. How about Austin, if you want to take Dr. Casey Bullock, and then Phoenix, you want to take Dr. Mary G. Parker, and then find their
Mary G.
positions
Parker is
online.
the vice president and chief enrollment strategist at
Okay.
the registry.
Thank you very much. All right, so we can include that in amendments when we get to it.
Can we just amend to like add the proper names, or do we have to specify?
We have to
Okay.
specify, yeah.
Dr. Casey Bullock is a man.
Oh.
Okay.
Dr. Casey Bullock is the university registrar, so
Okay, all right, so, is that it for debate? All right, so we're now in line for, seeing as there's no final privilege, we're now in line for any motions. Do I hear any motions at this time?
I move to amend SSB 2025-1103 by editing the proviso line, adding chair of the political science department in front of Benjamin B. Smith, adding associate chair of the political science department in front of Connor O. Dwyer, adding university registrar in front of Dr. Casey Bullock, and adding vice president and chief enrollment strategist in front of Mary G. Parker, and she's a doctor, and then the dean of the political science department, Mary Watt. Right, by unanimous consent.
The motion has been made to add certain titles to the proviso of 1103 by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes. All right, let's go through these. So, chair of the political science department, Benjamin Smith. Associate chair of the political science department. And then
Thank you.
Connor Dwyer, university registrar for Dr. Casey Bullock. And then what's Mary Parker's?
She's the vice,
Vice
Vice
president and
president.
chief enrollment strategist. The Division of Enrollment Management.
Vice president and chief enrollment strategist.
I'm also seeing she's the associate
Provost. Oh Lord, we have to add more titles. All right, let's just
Oh,
pick
and
one
then-
title.
Wait, and then I think Mary Watt is the dean of College of Liberal Arts and Sciences.
That's who we're electing to.
Okay, so do you want to make the motion?
Yeah.
Okay.
I move to amend SSB 2025-1103 to add dean of the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences in front of Mary Watt by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion made to add a title to Mary Watt's name in the proviso by unanimous consent on 1103. Do I hear any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes. Okay, take a look at that. Tell me how it looks.
I also move to amend SSB 2025-1103 by adding Senator Abigail Mohammed to the sponsors line.
There's been a motion made to add a senator to the sponsors line by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes. Alright, we're still in line for any motions. Are there any motions at this time?
I move to pass SSB 2025-1103 by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion made to pass SSB 2025-1103 by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes. Alright. Alright, seeing as the docket has been completed, it's Meeting's adjourned at 4:01 p.m.